The housing wars are back. The government and the Greens firing shots in the Senate as tensions rise. And with neither side giving ground, the nation's renters and aspiring homeowners could be the biggest casualties.
The Senate have a week where it's just them, okay? There's no distractions here. Can they get anything done?
It's time for a
Senate Showdown.
Can they get anything done this week? That's the question.
Two bills hanging in the balance. Build to Rent, which offers tax breaks to incentivise the construction of rent-only builds, and Help to Buy, which allows the government to contribute up to 40% of the price for a new home, 30% for an existing one, for first-time buyers. Both key to the government's plan to tackle the nation's housing crisis.
The key is the no election getting out of the way.
The government's bill's set to be introduced in the Senate this week, stuck between a rock
This is a hopeless scheme. The pimple on the elephant's backside.
and a hard place.
This piece of legislation is like bringing a spoon to a gunfight. It's not even a knife. It's a spoon.
We are building. The Coalition and the Greens have been blocking.
But the Greens say they're not the problem.
Instead of playing political games and bringing stunts before the Senate, the Prime Minister should start negotiating.
Their demands? Rent caps and freezers, more public housing and an end to negative gearing.
Labor's Band-Aid answers are making the problem worse.
I'm worried that politics is standing in the way of delivering measures that, while not perfect and certainly not the whole solution, can and will help.
If the Greens continue to carry on the way they are with their stupid bloody demands because they don't want houses built, then let them wear that at the next election.
So as the Senate standoff continues, will desperate Aussie renters and aspiring homeowners be caught in the crossfire?
You can't say that you're for more housing while you oppose everything that occurs to boost supply.
How does a party that professes to be progressive work with Peter Dutton to stop a Labor government building more houses? You empower him. Give us all a break, really.
We are live from the lands of the Kulin Nation. Greens housing spokesperson Max Chandler-Mather is with us now. Max, the government has made it clear, really for a very long time now, that it is not going to negotiate on any of the requests that you're trying to introduce in the Build to Rent bill that you've been talking about for a long time now. Are you really going to stop houses being built specifically for renters?
Neither of these bills will build any affordable rentals for renters. One gives tax handouts to property investors to build apartments property developers already plan to build and charging rents often 20% above market rent. No renter who needs a home would be able to get one of those anyway. And the other bill drives up house prices for the 99.8% of renters who wouldn't get access to that scheme every year. All we've said to the government is we expect them to do things for the millions of renters doing it tough right now that actually help them and improve their lives. Frankly, I think renters in this country deserve more than scraps. And in fact, in some ways, things that are worse than scraps because it's going to make a lot of people's lives worse.
So just to be clear, you will vote against the building of specific houses or dwellings for rent. That is your plan. You will vote against it.
To be clear, the Labor's Build to Rent scheme, they have no modelling to suggest it will build any new homes. Like, they can't put a number on it because it won't. It will give tax breaks to property developers to build apartments they already plan to build. And what we've said to Labor is if you want to help renters, coordinate a freeze and cap on rent increases, because right now there are millions of renters right now who are one rent increase away from severe financial stress or even eviction into homelessness. They need caps on rent increases, not bills that sound nice in the name but actually make the problem worse. And for people trying to buy a home, they need the government to stop giving property investors billions of dollars in tax handouts that deny renters the chance to buy a home and drive up house prices.
Max, Labor says it is going to help renters. Are they lying?
Well, we just had an inquiry into Build to Rent and not a single expert would say anything nice about Labor's proposed scheme. No one was able to say if it would help anyone. They pointed out that schemes similarly around the world see corporate landlords engage in rent maximisation schemes that drive up rents and screw over renters. What renters need is A, the government to invest in public housing again, like we've proposed to the government. There's no reason why they couldn't be investing billions of dollars in public housing. And they need limits on their rent increases. It's sort of madness that there are over 7 million renters in this country, and every time they come up for a lease renewal, they have no control over how much their rents go up by. We've said to the government we're willing to work with them to help them coordinate a national freeze and cap on rent increases. It beggars belief that the Labor Party would instead decide to lock in unlimited rent increases and screw over millions of people.
Let me just understand your theory here. Your theory is that when you provide tax incentives for developers to build new dwellings, that will not increase the number of dwellings they build at all, right? Do I understand correctly the position you're taking there?
That's correct. Even the Property Council, who are no friends of the Greens, who represent property developers, have said that it's not clear that Labor's current scheme will result in the construction of a single new home that otherwise wouldn't have already been built. What we actually need is a government to start building public housing again, like governments used to in the past, a government that's willing to put caps on rent increases, and a government that's willing to phase out those tax handouts, so when first home buyers go to an auction, they're not screwed over by a property investor with tax handouts in their pocket from this Labor government. So in that case, you should just vote against this scheme. There shouldn't be any arguments about how you might amend the bill. You should just vote it down. If what you're saying is true, what have you got to negotiate over? Because we're in the middle of a massive housing crisis and we have a rare opportunity to push Labor into a negotiation where we can secure reforms that will fundamentally improve the lives of millions of people, and we will not miss that opportunity. Now, Labor may attack us. They may not like us. It's pretty clear the Prime Minister doesn't like me that much. Well, sometimes you have to work with people that you don't like, and what we've said to Labor again and again is come to the table, sit down with the Greens, work out a plan to build more public housing, work out a plan to help the millions of renters doing it tough, stop acting on behalf of the interest of property investors and start acting on behalf of the interest of the millions of renters that this government is meant to represent. Max, thank you so much for your time. Thank you.